Welcome back. This is Erin Coney, and this is Erin on Education. We have another very special and exciting guest, Jack Ransom. How are you?
I'm doing good.
That's great. So tell us about who you are, what you do, where you're going to school.
My name is Jack Ransom, and right now I just mostly work on my clothing brand that I started a few months back. And right now I'm going to school at Mott Community College for studio arts degree.
Oh, sweet. Okay. And how long have you been there now?
It would be around 2 years.
Okay.
Yep, I'm actually coming up to my last semester in the winter.
Okay. Yep, because it's 2 years there, right? And then you
Yep.
go on. Where are you going to go next?
What I'm trying to do is I'm working on my college portfolio right now.
Okay.
And what I'd like to do is transfer to Fashion Institute of Technology in New York.
Oh, wow.
That's like
the creme
first
de la
choice.
creme.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Dream school.
Okay, so that's your first choice.
Yep.
And where do you have another choice, second choice?
Probably I'd say CMU,
Okay.
State, just all the schools generally around the area that have good fashion programs.
Okay, awesome. Well, I look forward to you getting that acceptance. That's gonna
Yeah,
be cool.
me too.
So tell us. Okay, I saw the shirt. I want to know about the shirt. Tell me. Let's show the viewers.
All right.
Yep.
This is one of the more recent shirts that I just released.
Okay.
And as you can see, it's very pop art inspired.
Yeah, I was gonna say it does look very pop arty. I love that.
And this was actually inspired by one of the other shirts that I released. It featured this. It was a kind of abstract drawing of a girl, and like the styles feature like color field and like pop art and all that stuff. And as I was working on it, I kind of really like the style, like kind of comic pop.
Yeah.
So I decided just to go with it for the rest of the shirts.
Okay.
But yep, and then with the butterfly pattern, that's the butterflies. That's a theme that's like kind of present throughout the brand
Okay.
that I try to use as much as possible.
And your brand, what is your brand called?
It's called Rough Nation.
Rough Nation. Okay. So tell me about that. What inspired you to name it Rough Nation? Get some water.
Yep. Well, rough is the aesthetic that I made for the brand,
Okay.
and it's really inspired by a lot of like, say, vintage movie posters and like kind of really old style movies. Like, if there's a lot like throughout the brand, like on the website, you see a lot of like film grain, and just like this is this distress, this vintage distress.
Yeah.
That you see on like really classic old movie posters too.
Yep.
I'm really inspired by horror movies and a lot of abstract designers too, like Raph Simmons and Kuokabo.
Okay. I'm glad you're kind of like a soulmate for me because I love film. I love horror movies, and I could talk
horror
about
movies,
it all day.
yeah. And then actually because I started this, like I got really into photography and video production. So all this
Okay.
stuff, like all this equipment, I think it's awesome.
That's awesome. So do you aspire to get into the film industry?
I'd like to do something with it.
Okay.
Because, like fashion films, fashion industry movies, they kind of like coincide with each other.
Okay.
So
Awesome.
I would definitely, I like making fashion films too. I have a couple on my website or the YouTube
Oh.
page.
Tell us your website so people can go.
The website, the URL is theroughnation.com.
Okay.
And then on there, you can look at the clothing. They're available online. I know this shirt's in limited supply right now. Like, we're sold out of some sizes, as well as it's also, you can find our Instagram on there too,
Okay.
and all our other social media accounts,
Okay.
as well as the about page. So it kind of explains like the whole idea of the brand.
Awesome. So the Rough Nation. Tell me the inspiration though. Like, why did you choose the word rough?
That's just kind of the only way to like describe it is rough.
Okay. Okay.
It's kind of like rough grain.
Yeah, because of
And-
the film grain. Okay.
And then I'll show
Can
you
I
the
see
logo.
this?
Yep.
Thank you.
And then with the logo itself, the nation part and the logo, it was actually kind of inspired by my dad's brand or
Okay.
company that he started way back called the Ameristep, which also featured an American flag. Mm-hmm. So with this design, is kind of like me following in his footsteps.
Yeah. Okay.
And then with the nation part, Like, I'm really inspired by, like I said, like abstract, kind of like surreal art style.
Yeah.
And I kind of look at fashion as a, like an art form too.
Right.
Some people, like, they just see it as just like clothing to wear.
Right.
So pretty much the nation part is kind of like me trying to spread like my perspective of clothing and fashion, to as much people as possible.
Thank you for giving me this card. I'm going to keep in touch with you after this podcast. I want to know, so this podcast, like I said, is youth and education. Do you do anything with teaching other people about fashion, how they can change their perspective about it? Or I'll give this back to you. I'm going to steal it from you before.
Sorry. So what was the question again?
So this is education-based podcast. So do you teach other people about fashion, how they can change their perspective about it, how they can dress a certain way to look presentable?
I try to as much as possible. With like all the clothing stuff, and like I'm really into drawing and photography. A lot of people say, "Oh, I'd love to be able to do that." I'm like, if you take the time to learn how to do it, like, you can do it.
Right.
I try to help them out as much as possible. They're like, "Oh no," it's like I'm not that kind of person. But really, like, when I first decided that I wanted to get into fashion design, I had like no skill, whatever, no experience drawing. Like, I had never really drawn before that.
Okay.
And I'd never like, shot like actual camera.
Yeah.
And I didn't know how to use any like the graphic design programs. But, right there when I decided to, I was like, I need to know all this stuff I'm going to do it. So I have to take the time to learn and teach myself. Because I go to Mott right now, there's not really any fashion design classes there. So when it comes to like sewing and like, fashion illustrations, I got to kind of teach it myself. And
You have to go elsewhere to kind of learn. And maybe one day they will have that for you, for people that are coming behind you.
So as far as like teaching people, like, I'm still trying to teach myself,
Right. That's the best way to learn too, when you like learn with other people and you both get it.
Yeah. And
what program did you use to make this?
This was used in Adobe Illustrator.
Okay.
And like, as far as like vector designs go, those, for me, that's like the easiest to work with. But when you're working with like actual digital art, that's like kind of like a whole nother territory, because it involves like gradients and all that stuff. And when you're getting clothing made, like, especially for like people that screen print them, like, using gradients is like, some people just can't even do it.
Oh,
it's
and
like,
you know how to do it?
No, like, as far as screen printing goes, I go through a place called Parfait Inc.
Okay.
And actually, the woman that runs it, her name's Heather. Her son actually has a clothing brand too, Parker, and it's called Key Apparel.
Oh, I've heard of Key Apparel.
Yep.
Okay.
And a percentage of their profits actually goes to like women that like help, trafficking, and tries to like help with all that stuff. So it's a great brand to check out. But anyway, like, it really depends on the color and how it's made.
Okay.
If you need to get printed like this is made of like a vinyl print, and it's like layered on top of each other one by one, like each color. And it depends on like how many colors it is really depends on like the price and all that stuff. So it's like all stuff you have to keep in mind when like I'm trying to like make a design,
Right. And people don't think about that. Like, you're educating me about, I've never designed my own shirt. I might have maybe given a detail to someone and they just do it. So the fact that you can do that is cool. So like Key Apparel, how they give their proceeds to that cause, do you have something like that you're doing?
I do. I do donate, but I don't really use it as like for marketing yet. Which, I mean, I'm really like, it's a great selling point. So
yeah.
But really, it's like most of the donations I do, I just kind of do myself. Just not really through the brand.
Okay. Do you aspire to do anything more in the future besides this with fashion?
Well,
which I'm sure you do.
Right now I'm working on this, and I try to work on this as much as possible with the amount of time I have. But as the school year's coming up and I'm working on my portfolio, I try to do like as much as I can.
Okay.
But I'm not able to work on it as much as I'd like to. But let's say I did get accepted in FIT and I go out to New York. Well, I mean, I'm not really sure, honestly. I didn't think that far ahead.
Yeah. Do you know what program you'd want to go into there, though?
They have fashion design program.
Okay.
But they also have a few other programs, like, they have women's apparel.
Okay.
They have accessories
And you could potentially go, take all those courses and still. Do you see yourself designing more for women, men, or just does it matter?
It really doesn't matter. I would like to design for both.
Okay.
But, I like. It would probably be for women.
Okay.
Too.
Awesome.
Like, when I'm drawing, like, most likely I'm drawing on a woman's figure,
Right.
And that's actually what I'm doing right now with the portfolio is you got to design some illustrations and, most of it's like, female apparel.
Okay. So I'm curious. You know how to draw.
Mm-hmm.
So do you mind showing us and the viewers, or me and the viewers, how you draw something? Like, is there a certain way you draw each time?
Yeah. I would say, yeah, everybody has like
if you want to draw.
Like their own work process. And
Okay.
see what I can do here. I'm more of a still life drawer.
Oh.
So, like, when I'm like looking at something, be able to draw it.
Okay.
Yeah. As far as being creative, for me, that's like a whole different thing.
Okay.
Because, they say that you're your worst critic, it's like,
yeah.
I'll think of a design, I'll like it for like maybe 5 seconds, I'll be like, no, it's not good enough.
Right. Start over.
But, well, typically what I do is...
If you feel the need to be...
I'm trying to think of a way to put it.
Yeah.
I like drawing portraits of people.
Oh, okay.
So it's like, you got... I just took a figure drawing class, too.
I was going to ask if you've taken classes.
And, it's like what they tell you in the class is like every time we'd start, they would give us like... They would have the figure in front of us, and they would give us 5 seconds to draw the entire body.
Seriously?
Yeah.
What?
So, you would have to, like, just be, like, and, like, they teach you not even just look at them. Or
Wow.
not even look at your drawing. Just, like, look at the figure and kind of just, like, get, like, the overall, like, feel for the shape of it,
Do you feel like you've had success with that, or do you think it comes out kind of looking weird?
Well, I think they try to teach you, like, time management.
Yeah.
For that, and it was kind of something I struggled with because I take like my time with my drawings. Mm-hmm. So pretty much like, our professor would kind of yell at us if we're like not moving quick enough.
Yeah.
Like that means that we're thinking too much or.
That's a great way to learn. I feel like that can translate into other areas, of your life, getting things done in a certain amount of time.
Yep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's awesome. So.
And I got nothing to show here, honestly.
It's okay.
I don't even know.
But
what I'm doing anymore.
I'm glad that you did that because, people want to learn to draw. So that's why I thought to ask you because you already have that down. You seem very like informed about it.
Yeah.
So people that are listening to us and watching you can be inspired and take a course like that. Because I actually, I'm in pharmacy school, but I'm very creative. And I actually took drawing courses. I took a still life class, and I wish I brought it today so I could show you. And I wish you could show me some more of your work, but I can look at it later.
Yep. A lot of my drawings and photography is on my Instagram page, too.
Okay. Oh, and tell us your Instagram page.
My personal Instagram page is jransom123. And then the brand Instagram page is rough__nation.
Okay. Cool. Mm-hmm. When you said portraits, it made me think about this Albert Einstein portrait. They had this here in the studio, and I thought it'd be perfect for education and everything.
Yeah.
So I'd like to see you do a portrait one day. I want to see that, that potential.
Yeah, but a lot of people, like, they see one of my drawings, and, they say they wish they could do that, and it's really, like, it's just knowing, like, how, like, it's kind of weird. You just gotta know what you're looking at pretty much.
Right.
Like you gotta look at whatever it is you're drawing differently in order to draw it.
Okay. Interesting. Mm-hmm. So tell me what's next for you, like this summer. Are you doing anything else this summer related before the school year starts related to your fashion designs and are you showcasing anything?
Well, I would say as of right now, I'm working on my college portfolio, and I'm trying to get that done like this month as quick as possible. Because once school starts up, I'm gonna be like very busy because I'm taking a full load.
Okay.
This semester.
Okay. Do you have any challenges you faced while going through this program with fashion and?
I would say
Or maybe you're just so good you don't.
The hardest thing that I would say that I deal with is trying to get the clothing into an environment that people are gonna like want to actually buy stuff.
Okay.
Because like for the longest time, you know, like I used to work over at Jet's Pizza, and it's like I had to sell my clothes like kind of out of there a little bit.
Oh wow.
Because you know I was there most of the time, but what I noticed like a huge difference is pretty much like say if you're at like a craft show or you're in a store, like that's like way better than just you know trying to like advertise like your website or you know try and get people to come to you to buy clothing. But right now I actually have my clothing in a store.
Oh, okay.
Yep, and that's at Brush Alley Skate Shop.
Okay, I know exactly where that is in downtown Flint, right?
Yep, that's 111 East 3rd Street.
Okay.
And yeah, they're awesome people down there.
I was in there this summer.
Yeah.
So some of your when did you start showcasing your clothing in there? Because I probably saw some of your work.
Yep. I would say, I think probably like back in June. I'd say. So you probably saw my shirts, like at least one of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, like pretty much me and my friend Kennedy, like, you know, I called her up. I was like, hey, there's a skate shop downtown. You know, it's like we could go in there kind of as a team. Mm-hmm. You know, try to like see what we can do business with them. That's awesome. And like we walked in, and before I could even say anything, she's like, hi, you know, we're from clothing brand. You know, all this stuff was like before I could even like get a word out. And like, you know, by the end of it, like we had our clothes on the shelves, and it just worked out great.
That's great.
Yeah.
Our generation is very entrepreneurial, like spirit wise.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that you're doing that is going to be awesome. You're because you already have something to show too. So when you do, I'm claiming you get in there. When you go there, you're going to be able to show what you've done. And yeah.
But that's another thing is as soon as I started clothing brand, I started to realize, like, started to notice all the other people my age that I went to school with are like doing business for themselves. Like, you know, my friend Kayla Laird, she has Lord Laird's Lemonade.
Okay.
My other friend, Kayla Harden, she just started a website for crafts.
I think I know Kayla. Mm-hmm.
Yep, Kayla Crafts.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, I got a couple other friends, you know, Alex Hondale and Jamari.
Okay.
You know, they do photography, and, you know, they do a lot of freelance work, too.
Okay.
You know, it's like there was just recently a craft show. Like downtown, like this past summer, and we were all there, and we all had our own booths and stands.
Was it during the festival? The Buckham Alley Fest or the?
No, it was like I'd say around a little bit over a month ago, back in July, mid-July actually. Yeah.
Cool. And have you gotten people to, you know, wear your clothing and have a fashion show?
Not a fashion show, but I do like. Occasionally I'll like go be on a skate shop and I'll like just see like a random person wearing one of my clothes.
Okay.
And I'll be
and
like,
it makes you feel good.
Yeah, I'll be like, hey, hold on, just hold still real quick, and I'll get a picture of them. But yeah, they're really awesome down there, and you know, I try to stay down there and be like interact with them as much as possible. Like I've been shooting a lot of photography for them. Okay. They just recently had like their annual skate game that they do. Well, it was annual, but every month they have their like a game of skate going on down there where they invite all the skateboarders, and they're trying to like really bring back skate culture to Flint, and they're doing a pretty good job of that so far.
Awesome. Yeah. So I'm curious though. You said you love film. Mm-hmm. I'm someone that loves animation. I love Japanese animation.
When I started learning how to draw, like animation is like another thing that I became really fascinated with. Yes,
and I could tell that you probably like that too. Do you like Japanese animation in particular, like anime?
Well, actually, not Japanese animation, but I'm really inspired by a lot of Japanese fashion.
Okay.
And design.
And how has that played a role in your development as a fashion?
Well, like I said, one of my favorite designers, Kurokabu. You know, Yoji Yamamoto.
Oh, yes.
That's Y3, you know.
Yep.
A lot of their style, like, especially if you look at any of their runway shows, it's really kind of has a dark aesthetic, really abstract. Mm-hmm. And that is like that kind of stuff that, like, where I look at it and like it kind of confuses me. It's like I'm trying to figure out what it is I'm looking at. Like that's my
Right.
favorite kind of, clothing and fashion,
Yeah. So in school, I want to know, going back to education, what's something that sticks out to you that you learned in the fashion realm? And maybe you could share with people that want to follow in your footsteps. There's probably a lot.
Well, I'd say like the most important stuff I learned is, learn how to do, especially if you're on your own, like grassroots, is learn how to do as much stuff as possible, because like all the like the Illustrator stuff, Photoshop, you can pay someone to do that for you if you don't know.
Yeah.
But, in the long run, if you know how to do it yourself, you're going to save a whole bunch of money.
You are. And you're more, people want you more because you know how to do it already.
Yeah.
So they're going to pick you over someone that's still, learning.
Yeah.
So, this is something I like to do in my show. I like to ask them about a time where they shined with great effulgence. I'm going to explain what that word means. I don't know if you heard me say it earlier, but it means to shine forth brilliantly. And it's an adjective. So effulgent is the word I learned in high school. So I thought I would incorporate something. I will give you this hat, graduation cap, because we've graduated. And I want to know, in your opinion, something you've done in school that's made you feel like you shined with great effulgence.
I guess when I made the dean's list.
Oh, okay.
Because I would say like throughout like middle school and high school, I didn't always get the best grades. And like throughout most of high school, like I didn't really know what I wanted to do for a career. It wasn't until my senior year that I realized that I wanted to be a fashion designer. And it was like that instant moment when it clicked in my head. Like that's when it changed. It's like, I looked at FIT and I thought, if I applied there now, I would be the last person they would accept, with my grades and with my skill set. So I decided to just turn all of that around. And I really need to focus hard in school, get like, not just average grades, but like above average.
Right.
I just really need to make myself stick out. And I'd say that so far I'm doing a pretty good job of it, at least as far as grades go.
That's excellent. So you did bring up, though, I wanted to ask, did you think you were going to do something before this fashion journey?
Well,
a different subject?
I was interested in fashion for a whole year before I knew I wanted to be a fashion designer. And it wasn't until like halfway through my senior year, we were taking a senior seminar class, and like there was computers in there, and occasionally they'd bring in a college recruitment person, and they would give us their whole speech why we should go there. And the person that was in there that day was from the art institutes. And at that point I was like, art degree, like I'm never gonna get art degree. What am I gonna do with that? So I was just totally ignoring her. I was actually, I was on the Gucci website, actually, just like browsing. Yeah.
My friend does that all the time.
Yeah. But, so I'm just like, kind of just like sitting there, just like kind of in my own world. And then the only words that I heard come out of her mouth was like, you could be a fashion designer. And then it's like, I was like, wait a minute. I was like, yeah, I want to do that. Like, it was literally just like,
right. It just
like
clicked.
snap. So after that, instead of just like looking up like all the clothes and like seasons and the clothing lines, I started to look up like the background of a lot of these fashion designers and where they come from and what schools they went to and who they worked under.
Good. That's good you do that, because that's something I think a lot of people probably, well, I shouldn't say a lot, but I know I haven't done enough of. I want to look into the lives of people that I aspire to be like, and look and see what they've done. So that's great you're doing that.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, I really appreciate you coming. Is there anything else that you'd like to share with our viewers? Let them know anything?
I'd say just check out the website, check out the clothing. Also, Key Apparel.
Okay.
Great stuff. Check out Brush Alley Skate Shop downtown on East 3rd Street. And, Kayla Crafts, Lord Laird's Lemonade, all that stuff. Just plug in the rest of my friends. And
I'm pretty sure you're going to collaborate a lot more with all of the people in that world.
Actually, as much as, like, I've collaborated with, like, other artists on shirts, and as much as I'd like to make, like, the designs, like, 100%, like, by me, it's, like, occasionally I'll see, like, an artist or, like, a piece of art and I'll be like, that's got to go on a shirt.
Yeah.
I actually plan on doing that for the next shirts once I'm able to get to it.
Okay. So this makes me think, is there anything on this table or in this set that inspires you?
Let's see. I'd say probably the Einstein one.
Yeah, that really kind of draws your eye anyway.
You know, it's like when I see like an elaborate like drawing like that, it's like I wonder how much time the person put into drawing that.
Right.
Did you? Or you know?
I did not. And actually, they told me here, Karen Smith, that's everyone knows Karen. She said that she got this at an auction.
Really?
And I think it was about $300 or so. Don't quote me. That's what she told me. But it's a local artist, and Zach, who's really awesome behind the scenes, told me that. So, yeah.
So if it's like $300, then probably a lot of time went into it.
Yeah.
A lot of time, material. Like I've never sold any of my art before. Most because, like I said, I critique myself so much that I can't even put a price tag on my own stuff.
Yeah, and maybe eventually you will though. You know, because that is kind of hard.
Yeah.
But thank you so much, Jack, for coming, and I really appreciate everyone for listening today. So look out for Jack Ransom. He's going to be doing great things. This has been Erin on Education. Have a great day.